Warning: this series may contain discussions about the accountancy profession, jargon of a financial nature, and some really engaging content. Episode 2: Tennick Accountants' relationship with GI and advice to those sceptical about working with an outsourcer. In this episode, Graeme discusses how Tennick Accountants started with GI and where they're at now, including some valuable advice on those sceptical about working with an outsourcer. Graeme also touches on changing perceptions in regards to somebody working in a different country and ultimately being the right person for the job.
I guess since you've started working with us up until current date, can you share with me and for our viewers, I guess, talk us through the process from start to finish, where you started with GI and I guess where you're at now, mate?
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a good few years back. So I'm going to go back to PwC days to start off with. I think it's worthwhile aligning people's expectations a little bit here.
Absolutely.
So bearing in mind, when PwC were doing this, they were, I think it might have even been the first of the big four accountancy firms doing it. I was not solely responsible. I was part of a much bigger team, so I kind of claim all credit, just to put my disclaimer on the bottom there. I might have had a big influence, but no, I didn't. I'm just kidding. But I was part of a much bigger team, and this again, I came on well down the line in terms of it. But at that point in time there, where they were outsourcing part of the audit function, it didn't always work very well, insofar as language barriers, cultural barriers, and just general issues with regards to quality of work. Now, part of that comes from an education perspective, and I think as a firm and as individuals, we have to realise every country has different cultures. Every region has different cultures as much as anything else. So it's part of a learning curve. So when we were doing things at times, and I heard it amongst the UK teams, saying, oh, the work's not very good, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. But really what happens is you've got to actually understand what you're asking that person to do. So at times, some of the issues, and again, I'd rather just say these here and now, were if you asked somebody to do something, it was never a no. It was always a yes. That was the first thing. And no matter how much you asked of somebody, they'd always just yes, yes, yes. So volume and quality wise, there was an education piece there to say, look, if you don't understand, please tell me you don't understand. Then we can talk through it, we can train, we can get you right, and that's great. Also, please do not overcommit in terms of that, because I don't want you to do that. Not that many deadlines were missed, mind, but from a cultural perspective, it was very different across in India, because particularly at that time, families would wait until all their loved ones were home before they would eat. Now, I don't know about yourself, James, but my missus, my tea would be in the bin if I was working late to say finishing work off. So, I mean, but again, it was part of an education piece just to understand that.
That's dating a northern bird right there, Graeme. I can tell you that much.
Is it? I can't comment. So, but I just know. I better check the time. So I've got time to get on with my tea. Okay. But that was something there where you start getting an education piece, and rather than just a general barrier, because I think there's also been barriers but long before even my PwC days, insofar as the whole call centre idea in terms of, it goes abroad to a call centre, they read off the crib sheet, this, that and the other. It's complete garbage. The teams, not just in India but elsewhere in the world, they've got some amazing individuals there that are more qualified than you could ever imagine. Now, I'm not saying they're more qualified than people here in the UK, but they're more qualified than what the level of expectation is. And this is where the education piece comes, because I'm comparing person to person, not country to country. That's the critical bit. Once you overcome that bit and you train them and guide them like what you would do anybody else here in the UK, you bridge a massive gap with regards to that. So in terms of moving forward, fast forwarding quite a few years to when I went through GI, I've been chatting to you for quite a while. There was never any hard sales, and I just said, when the time's right, I'm going to do it. And I wish I'd done it sooner. But when I did the interview, I'll be honest, the member of the team, Travani, who I don't mind mentioning, but nobody can have her because she's ours. When I interviewed her, I'll be honest, she didn't interview well at all. And her CV was good. And I actually said no. It was actually Antoinette on your team who'd said, Graeme, she's perfect for you. She's absolutely perfect. Don't worry about the interview. Say, you just need to think about giving her a chance. And it was only as a result of that persuasion that I did. But also, and again, I said before, I'd be totally frank and honest, I was concerned about the commitment of a 12-month contract for somebody I'd never even met and only had a phone call with. I was just like, this doesn't quite mirror my UK contract as I was taking somebody on board here. And I openly said, I don't want to commit to 12 months because I don't know what I'm getting into, and it wasn't a small amount of money. Because like I said, it wasn't a cost saving for me. And GI were amazing with the contract we agreed. It had the same flexibility that would have had if I had somebody here in the UK. And I took her on, and she is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I've got to, and I know you probably ask us this question, but I'm just going to answer it straight away. We're like brothers here. I mean, we're talking the same language.
We're grand.
But the next thing which I would say, which we did right, because I knew there'd be similar barriers like within the team in terms of that as well. The next thing we did right is we made her part of the team. So she's in our WhatsApp group. She's even on our website in terms of that. She's been in team meetings, everything. We made her part of the team to prove that she truly was part of the team, and the team love her, absolutely love her. And it was a case of it helped us overcome the barriers. So whilst I wanted a little bit of kind of bedding in time before I kind of said, right, okay, you can do whatever you need with clients, and I've got total confidence in you, it was no different to what I would have done with a member of the team here in the UK. But I overcome the barriers internally, the resistance, by having her prove herself, and she was amazing. But she is part of our team. I even give her a present at Christmas, obviously not face to face, otherwise I would have got arrested for that. But yeah, we very much embraced what happened, but also were willing about the challenges which would come along the way.
Fantastic. You mentioned that point around embedding someone as part of the team. Like, that's the exact way that clients that work with us in the model that you do and the way that you do, that's the exact and perfect way for them to work, right? We've got a duty of care perspective, and actually it's not just a customer supplier relationship we enter into. Actually, it's a partnership, and in a true sense of the word.
Yeah.
A massive thank you, I guess, for that. Firstly, how was it, potentially changing perceptions or making sure that the team were really on board with somebody working, from a different location or a different country?
Yeah. I'm not lying, it wasn't dead straightforward, but I think the first thing you've got to do is listen to the team. Because again, having been through it a little bit before, I kind of knew what some of the reservations would be. So I mean, the first thing you've got is somebody kind of like thinking, hang on a minute, who's this person coming in? What are they going to impact? How are they going to impact me as an individual in terms of my progression? The next thing you've got is a case of, oh, hang on a minute, is this, and I had this in terms of people saying, well, does this mean we're just not going to recruit here in the UK and all jobs are going to go abroad? Another barrier there. Then there was issues with regards to the style of work. Well, how good is the work going to be? Then a case of the time difference, and lots of other things around that. And all I did was listen. And then I just broke them down. I said, well, the proof's going to be in the pudding, so we're going to work through those, and then let's just see. But I tried to answer them as we went. I mean, again, just covering off some of those. I said, well, based on the time difference, when you actually work it backwards, we're probably only going to lose 2 to 3 hours a day in terms of that. Well, with respect, we're not around each other, particularly working remotely, the exact same hours anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But then I said, in terms of progression, in terms of recruitment, well, the plans are what they've always been, insofar as that. So it's the best person for the job role. And for me, that just proves the point with regards to it. And in terms of the quality of the work, well, the same issues with the quality of the work comes with hiring somebody here in the UK as what it does abroad. And it just took time. So what I did is I didn't throw them straight in. I didn't throw Trevani straight into the deep end. I also didn't open her up straight to clients just to set her up to fail. It was a case, no, let's bed this in. Let's prove that this could work. But where there's bumps, because there will be bumps, absorb them, work through them, and work together as a team. But I think by really bringing that person into the team, so I mean, we had a lovely exchange of messages on WhatsApp whereby Trevani's sister was getting married. So she'd taken a couple of days off. And I said, look, if you don't mind, if you feel comfortable, it would be great to see some of the pictures, because I've been to an Indian wedding myself. And I said, it's just absolutely amazing. And I know the team would love just to see them. And she goes, I'd love to. So she sent the pictures through. And it was amazing just seeing the comments going back and forth. It felt like she was really kind of like part of the team, the way I'd always seen her as being. And the number of lovely messages she gets from the team now saying, look, this is amazing. I can't wait to get you across here in the UK when you're on. Get a holiday, but come across here for a couple of weeks just so we can kind of physically meet you. But just things like it's lovely the bond she's got with the team, and the team love her. But we had to let that relationship evolve, but also actually set the bar where I knew it had been a PwC. So I really lowered the expectations, not to the point whereby I said, look, expect this not to work. I said, just this may work, it may not work. I believe it's going to work, but these are the bumps I would expect. And we actually missed quite a lot of the bumps, if I'm honest. They didn't even happen. So we might have even just got a little bit lucky. So if stroke when we recruit the next, and I'm going to say right person for the job role rather than saying, say they're going to be based here, there, or whatever.
Yeah.
Same bumps we're going to potentially have with the next person. But yeah, we're really embedded her in, but we took our time, we listened to the team, we spoke with the team, and then obviously we just gradually just worked through it. And it took a lot less time than what I envisaged, but that doesn't mean the next time it might even take longer, it might take less, might take the same. But it's the same risk recruiting somebody wherever.
Oh, fantastic. I guess, look, that process, you've had exposure that a lot of our potential partners or customers haven't had to the outsourcing side of things, as you mentioned, from your national service there in PwC, right?
Yeah.
You've had still reluctancies when you've entered into the process, and obviously we've been at the point in time incredibly flexible around how we could work with you, the offering at hand there and everything else. A lot of the people that we speak to, haven't had the same exposure as you have, Graeme.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody that's skeptical about working with an outsourcer such as GI?
I would say, first of all, you've got to look at your internal processes for recruitment. I would say it's got to start with that. So let's, like you say, forget the geography bit. I know I've mentioned that a couple of times, but it's a key one.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the processes for recruitment. If you have a look at your processes for recruitment and fix yourself on getting the best person for the job role, then see how GI can come in to support that. And then talk with yourself, talk with GI in terms of, look, this is how we usually recruit. How could you support us within this? What would work, what would not work? And let's see, the flexibility you guys have shown me, just in terms of advice, tips. And like I say, if it wasn't for you guys, I'm particularly in Antoinetta, I would never have recruited that person. But we've had quite a change in terms of staffing. And I've got to say, she's just been amazing. And it's been so seamless. But I think the first point I'd say is if somebody's nervous about it, I would say, well, take a step back, have a look at your processes. What about your processes could you change to make you feel more comfortable with it? And I think that's a really key starting point, because if anything, I think the whole thing in the past, one of the key things would have been about the quality of the work. Well, I'd say, well, training. The next thing might have been a case about security. Well, so many people working from home, you've got the same security issues, somebody working 10 miles down the road to 10,000 miles down the road. So I'd say, what else is it? If it's a case of management, well, again, you've got the same management issues with somebody working 10 miles down the road. They say, yeah, well, we've got the trust built up there. I'll say, right, okay, well, if trust's an issue, how do you establish that trust with the next new person you recruit in the UK that might then be working remotely? So for me, I just think every barrier you've got, I think there's something which you could consider to overcome that. And like I say, the past 12 months alone is reason just to speed that up in terms of the consideration.
Fantastic. That's grand.
Thinking of outsourcing? Want to know more? Get in contact with us via our website or email us directly at solutions@gioutsourcing.com. More episodes coming soon, so stay tuned.